Vertex and standard form. So far, you have learned vertex form, and that is it. There are actually 3 forms, but we will really only talk about 2 of them. We'll kind of mention the 3rd form, which is intercept form, a little bit before the EOC. So the first form we have learned about is the one you just took a quiz on, and that is vertex form. In vertex form, you can see the vertex, hence the name vertex form. So you know the vertex is opposite H, comma K. We know that H moves it left and right, and K goes up and down, right? We also know that our A value stretches and compresses and reflects. So we have a lot of pieces in vertex form that we can see about our parabola right from just the given equation. Today's equation is going to be called, standard form. In standard form, you cannot see the vertex. Why am I having problems here? You cannot see the vertex just by looking at it, but you will still see your A value. Your A value will still be there, and this is the same A value that's in vertex form. So that A value does not switch it. If it's negative, that means it opens down. If it's positive, it opens up. If it's bigger than 1, it's stretching. If it's less than or between 0 and 1, it compresses. That A value is still going to be in there. So let's see what this form is. This is known as standard form. AX squared plus BX plus C, where A cannot be 0, because if A was 0, you would have BX plus C, and that would be a, what kind of function is that? What is just BX? No, I said if this is gone. No, what kind of function? Your functions you've learned are lines, exponentials, and quadratics. It would be a linear because it would be to the first power. So that's why A can't be 0, or else you just made a line. It's no longer quadratic, okay? So this A is the same A as in vertex form. Which means that you already will know by looking at this if it's opening up or down, or if it's stretched or compressed. All right? Who remembers what the C value was? We talked about this a lot with the word problems. Who remembered what the C value was?
Your initial start.
It's your starting, which is also known as your y-intercept. So this is something in standard form you can see, but you can't see in vertex form. So we said this is your y-intercept, your starting value. So vertex form gives us the vertex and gives us all the things that A gives us. Standard form gives us the y-intercept and the A value that it gives us as well. So we are going to have to learn how to find that vertex in order to be able to do these problems. So first we need to understand what A, B, and C are. So A is always with the x squared, B is always with the x, and C does not have a variable. So just remember that, all right? So Jordan, what are A, B, and C in number 1?
A is 2, B is 6, and then C is -3.
And you always take the sign that's in front of the number, so you did a good job there. Okay, Jordan Coward, I'll go with you now. What are my A, B, and C for the next one?
X squared. Wait, you could square.
What's the number in front?
1.
1, okay.
-2.
-2 and?
-1.
So you'll notice there's no value here, which makes it a 1, B, and C. RC, what's the next values? What are your A, B, and C?
-1, 3, and 0.
Yeah, the C value is with nothing. So there's nothing there, so that is C. Be careful on the next one, okay, Gianna? This one's a little bit challenging. Can you tell me what A, B, and C are?
A, -1, no.
We're on number 4.
A is 7, B is 0,
Yes.
C is 9.
So how many of you didn't get tricked by that and knew B was 0? That's important, okay? Guys, be looking for that. This is going to be important even when we get to the quadratic formula, which is later on. I'll get to sing you a song. Don't worry. My voice is lovely. Maybe I'll have Grace do it instead, since my voice is definitely not as good as Grace. I just, it was just magical yesterday when somebody showed it to me. So anyways, my 7th hour. So, A, B, and C are here. You'll notice B does not exist because there's no X term there. Okay, Connor. What are my A, B, and C in this one? Be careful.
Oh, A is -2.
Perfect.
B is a half.
Awesome.
And Y is negative. No, C is -2.
Okay, do you notice this isn't in standard form?
Nope.
The first thing you should do is write in standard form. And he did that in his head. So if this was in standard form, it would be y equals -2x squared plus 1/2 x minus 3. Just a quick rundown here. Your A value tells you a few things. Is this one going to open up or down? Up. It's positive. Will it stretch or compress? Stretch. Good. Open up or down? Up. It's positive, right?
Yes.
Will it stretch or compress or just stay?
Stay.
A is 1, so it stays. So there's no dilation. I know that's confusing. Up or down?
Down.
Down. Will it stretch or compress at all?
No.
No, it stays at no dilation. Up or down? Up. A is positive, right? And this is a big stretch, right? You're multiplying by 7. Up or down? Down. And will it stretch or compress? Stretch. Stretch. We always take the absolute value. We always look at the positive of it.
Oh, okay.
Because the negative tells you if it opens up or down, and the number itself tells you the stretch or compress. Does that make sense? Okay. So just as a reminder, and then we also know our y-intercepts on all of these. Do you guys see that? -3 is a y-intercept, -1, 0, 9, and -3. So you know a lot of information, you just don't know that vertex, which is kind of important. So that's what we're going to look at next. So let's look at some important information about f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. When a quadratic is no longer a quadratic, so please pay attention. We talked about this on the previous page. If a is 0, you get left with a
X squared.
You get left with a linear, right, because it's bx plus c. You no longer have a quadratic equation because it is f of x equals bx plus c, which is like y equals mx plus b, right? This is linear, not quadratic. Guys, when you multiply x squared by 0, so if your x term is 0, that makes the equation linear as well. Oh, that's what it's saying here. This is a line, not a parabola. Be careful. Reminder, parabola means the shape of any quadratic function is that U shape. It can open up or down. The vertex of a quadratic equation is the top or the bottom. If it's the top, it's a max. If it's the bottom, it's a min. Your vertex is right here. The direction of opening is of the parabola is determined by your A value. If A is positive, you're going to open up. And if A is negative, you're going to open down. Oh my gosh. The worst that you guys make up for my symbols and stuff.
How? Just to see how to make it. How? Parabola.
So, one of my very first years of teaching, I used to write side note on the board, as if I was doing something to the side, before we even had these iPads, whatever. And I put it as one word on accident one time, and so my whole class called it a seden note the whole year. So similar to what you do, they make things up.
Yeah, parabola.
Okay, moving on though. So if A is greater than 1, meaning it's positive, it is going to open upwards and have a min. If A is less than 0, it's negative, so it's going to open downwards and it's going to have a max. Okay, flip to the next page when you're ready.
turn myself into a Morty.
All right. Not right now. Not right now.
But that's not recycling.
Hey, no. No. Okay. So when you go to find the vertex, you need to find the ordered pair that makes the vertex of a standard form quadratic. It's not like vertex form where you can just look at the opposite h, same k value, and get x, y, right? You're going to have to do some work, do some algebra to get there. So when your equation is in standard form, h and k are no longer easy to see. So we use this formula, negative b, which really means opposite b, over 2a. So remember, this is standard form. So b is here in front of x, and a is in front of the x squared.
What?
So when you do negative b over 2a, you're going to use the a value, which is in front of the x squared term, and the b value, you're going to take opposite of the b value, which is in front of the x term. So you're going to use this formula to first find the x value. So this one gives you the x coordinate of the vertex.
Miss Barney's way louder than you.
Yeah,
Yes.
guys, one word. Remember that, one word.
Guys, x coordinate of the vertex is typically your when, your time, typically. So if you're trying to find, if you find the x coordinate, you've typically found the time. Not always, sometimes it's the horizontal distance, but it's your when typically. It is your x coordinate. After you find your x coordinate, you're going to substitute the value found for x into the original equation to find the corresponding y value. So you're going to sub in to x squared and x.
Hello?
So, after you substitute in, this will give you the y coordinate, which is typically your height. So, then you need to state your vertex as an x comma y. So listen to me really quickly. If you do not have your calculator out, you need to get it out. If you do not have one, you need to go grab one because you are going to be substituting in and we're just going to sub it all the way in.
Thanks.
First come, first serve on those calculators. Make sure you grab one. I used to have 10, but now I have 8.
Type on Justin's mind.
There's only one left. I mean,
You can take it. Take it.
for sure.
Yeah.
Mine? Yours? Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to say one of mine was finally coming back to me. It's like, yes, it's coming home. All right. Just a few things about the vertex. Just a few things about the vertex before we do anything. The vertex is the highest or lowest point. Stop, please. Okay, it is the highest or lowest point. So if it asks you for the max or min, stop it. You will use negative b over 2a. So if it ever asks you for that maximum or minimum, if it ever asks you to find the highest or lowest point in a word problem or any situation, you will use negative b over 2a to find x, and to find y, you will sub x back in. Remember, this is typically your when. And this is typically your height. Okay, when you are done, we're gonna look at that next page. So I'm gonna let you guys get a chance to write that down, and then we're gonna do some examples. Oh my, guys, stop. seriously, stop. Okay.
What's that say?
Where?
Like the blue above when?
When is typically, I just put tip here.
Oh, I thought that said 10.
Okay, guys. So we are going to move on here. Shh. We are going to put to use these steps, which are printed on the next page again, I think. So they're right in front of you. So the first thing we are going to do is determine our A, B, and C value like we did on that very first slide. So find the coordinates of the vertex. You're going to state if the parabola opens up or down. You're going to state if it's a maximum or a minimum. And then you're going to state the maximum or minimum value. The maximum or minimum value is the y coordinate of the vertex. The y coordinate of the vertex. So the first thing we need to do is determine what A equals, B equals, and C equals. So, Blaine, what do A, B, and C equal? It's already in standard form, so we're good. Sorry.
A equals 1, B equals -2, C equals 3.
So, it says to find the coordinates of the vertex first. So the first thing we are going to do is use x equals -b over 2a. If you are in standard form, which means you no longer have like that parenthesis inside of there, right? You need to use this. Our b value is -2. What's opposite of a -2?
Positive 2.
Because we do opposite, and our a value is, so we have 2 over 2, which is just
2.
1.
okay. So the first thing you got is your x coordinate of your vertex. From here, you are going to write down your original equation, It's a coordinate. Okay. And what is our x value?
1.
1. So you must put it in parentheses when you substitute in. And you also must put it in parentheses when you put it in your calculator. So write this down and then try to type it into your calculators with the parentheses. So you need to do parenthesis 1, parenthesis squared, -2, parenthesis 1, parenthesis, plus 3, exactly how you see it. And that will give you your y coordinate. So everybody try to type it in. Everybody try to type it in. You should be able to do it.
So 1 parentheses 2
Plus.
I got 2.
Plus. Oh, yeah, you're fine. Equal. No, 1 minute. Let me see what this is. 1 minus 2 is -1. It should be 2. So you'll do 1 parentheses. Is that the parenthesis button?
Are you supposed to do like parentheses 1?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. Raised to the second. Plus, that works. 2 negative times parenthesis 1 parenthesis plus, that's right, plus 3. So do you kind of see how I just did that?
Yeah.
Okay, you should have gotten 2. Did anybody not get 2?
2.
Did anybody not get 2? Raise your hand if you did not, because if you didn't, I need to show you how to put this in your calculator. Jana, we're going to have to play around with it every single time. You did not? Okay. So, our vertex is an ordered pair at 1, 2. So, we're going to answer the other questions now. So, part B says, state if the parabola is opening up or down. Our A value is positive, so it's opening. Is up a maximum or a minimum? If it opens up, it is a minimum. Your max or min value is the y coordinate of the vertex. What is the y coordinate of the vertex?
2. What, 2? Yeah. Is that your answer?
And that's your answer.
I'm still a little bit confused.
Because your y is typically your height, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying the height of this, the minimum height is at 2, basically. What are you confused about?
Like, how do you figure out that B was up, C was min?
Okay, so are you good with the vertex part? So, you look at your A value. If A is positive, it opens up, which makes it a minimum. If A is negative, it opens down, because remember that means you go out one down instead, because it's negative. And then we went from there. All right, Josh, what are my A, B, and C value here? Is this, first of all, is this even in standard form, Josh?
No.
No, put it in standard form, please.
Negative x squared plus 6x plus 4.
Yeah, you guys need to make sure it is in standard form first. Now tell me A, B, and C, Josh.
Negative x.
Oh,
No, negative 1.
there you go.
Yeah. And then and then 4.
Okay, the first part says to find the vertex. The vertex is negative b over 2a, which is opposite b over 2a. So, Emma, how do I substitute in b then?
It'd be -6.
Over 2 times negative 1. So that's negative 6 over negative 2, so x is 3.
Wow, what are you doing?
I have like no space in here.
You need a cough drop.
No, what the?
I'm kind of confused how you get that.
Right?
So,
So,
This is a formula derived from the quadratic formula to find the vertex. It is something that I'm not showing you how we got. So you need to trust that that's how you find the vertex. So the vertex is found using negative b over 2a, and that gives you your x value, okay? So we use the b value, which is 6, and we do the opposite, so that's negative 6. And we use the a value, which is negative 1, and we substitute that in. So 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, so that is just 3, okay? I'm not showing you the deriving of it because of that would be above a lot of you guys' heads. All right, the y coordinate means you substitute it back in. So we do negative x squared plus 4 plus 6x. It does not matter which one you substitute it in for. Which one do you need to put this in for? I mean, which number do you put in for x? Goodness.
3.
So this negative is on the outside, then we do a parenthesis 3 squared plus 4 plus 6 parenthesis 3. So when you go to do this in your calculator, do your negative button first, then parenthesis 3 parenthesis squared plus 4 plus 6 parenthesis 3 parenthesis.
Dab on the hair.
Okay, try it and see what number you get. You need to do 3 squared first, so do parenthesis 3, close parenthesis, square it, times, because it's a negative in front of it. The negative can be on the outside of it.
Oh, that's what I did first.
And then times 3 negative, plus 4, plus 6 parenthesis 3 parenthesis equals. Okay.
19.
Is that not right?
Let me look at it. Negative 9, negative 5.
You get 19.
It should be 13. Shh. It should be 13 for y. Let me see if I can do it. This one is really hard to use. Try it on hers for now. And we'll go from there. Okay. So your vertex should be 313. What did you get, Mike? Negative. First of all, you didn't even square it. The negative should be on the outside like mine is. Stop it. You didn't have to. I did that on purpose. Thank you. Okay. Okay, second. Where's your units? I don't want your units. I want your units. How did I do it before? You just destroyed what I was trying to do. Okay. So, you put the negative on the outside, and then you still need to square it.
Square what?
The first one is
the
square. There you go. All right. So, B asks you, is this a max, or is this opening up or down?
down.
It's negative, so it opens down. Is down a maximum or a minimum? And what is the value of the maximum? What is the height of the maximum?
13.
The y coordinate of your vertex. Stop that.
Sorry.
All right, let's look at number 4, and then we are going to try the word problem. So we're going to kind of skip around a little bit here. So let's try number 4.
Sorry, it's just coming to me easy. Sorry, bro.
Okay, guys, just because I'm helping somebody else doesn't mean you guys need to be like messing around. Do you understand me? All right. So we're going to do example 4 first. Is that in standard form?
No. Yes. Should not.
Yes, it is. It just doesn't have a B value, so we just have to be careful about that. What are A, B, and C? What is A? What is B? There is no X term. So B is 0. And then C is? Okay. The first thing we do is find the vertex using X equals opposite B over 2A. Opposite B is, well, can you take an opposite of 0?
Yeah.
So we have 0 over 2 times negative 1/4. What's 0 divided by anything?
Underline. 0.
Okay, no.
It's okay to have 0 on top. It's no to have it on bottom.
It's no. It is
So-
no to have on top.
So, your X coordinate of your vertex is 0. What is the next step to find the Y coordinate? Yes, Emma? Plug in the X so you can find Y. So you go back to your original, and you are going to substitute that in for X.
Just be zeros everywhere.
Not everywhere.
So be 0, 0.
You say 0.
X is 0. Guys, you don't know what's going on because you can't stop and listen for more than 1 second at a time before you start a conversation with somebody next to you. Stop. Just pay attention. 0 divided by anything is 0. So we got X equals 0. So we substituted 0 in for X. If you substitute that into your calculator exactly how you see it, to make a fraction, you use what button?
ABC.
ABC button. What does it give you? What does it give you? 2. So your vertex is at what?
0, 2.
0, 2. Is this one opening up or down? Down. It is negative, which means that it is a max, and your max value is the Y coordinate of the vertex. Is this one stretched or compressed? Compressed. This kind of looks like vertex form, so keep that in mind. Some of these problems, if they don't have a B value, could go either way. All right? Just so you're aware. We're going to look at the word problem. If we have time, we'll go back to number 3. Okay. So an object is launched at 19.6 meters per second from a 58.8 meter tall platform. The equation for the object's height, s, at time t seconds after launch is s of t equals negative 4.9 t squared plus 19.6 t plus 58.8, where s is the height in meters. So you'll notice, first of all, it is squared, which means this is
Quadratic.
you need to be able to tell the difference. This is not a line, it's quadratic. So be very careful here. So you're going to have to be doing all that stuff you've learned recently. It has maxes and mins, unlike a line. A line is a straight, and there's really no way to have a max or min because it goes on forever. So, what is the maximum height of the object? If you're thinking about x comma y, or in this case, t comma s, t is your time in, and s is your height in meters. It says that all in here, right? So are you trying to find, when it says maximum height, that means what are you trying to find?
The height in meters.
Which is also known as the, whenever you see maximum or minimum height, it says that means find the vertex. And we just learned in standard form to find the vertex you have to use negative b over 2a. Which coordinate of the vertex do you need to do if you're finding the maximum height? X or y? Y. So first we have to find x to find y. So what is my a, my b, and my c in my equation given to me here, Justin Powers? What are a, b, and c in the equation given to me here? So, x equals negative b over 2a. What is opposite of 19.6? over 2 times negative 4.9. What is negative 4.9 times 2? Okay, so we get negative 9.8 in our denominator. Go ahead and divide those. We know it's going to be positive because a negative and a negative is a positive. And you can give me the decimal. It started off as a decimal. That's fine. And maybe it's not. That's fine. That doesn't mean you're wrong. So it's 2. But that is your second. So your maximum height is after 2 seconds. Do you guys see that? We haven't found y yet. So we need to substitute that in for that original equation up there. Connor, did you need something? Were you confused?
When?
I don't know. Justin just said he agreed with you, so I was just making sure you're fine.
We're having an in-depth
So it's of something else, not about this? Okay. So
She's okay.
go ahead and put that into your calculator and see what you get out. Oh my gosh, let me see here. So you need to do, what did you just do here? So let's try do 2 to the second first.
I think it was because last time because I didn't put in in standard form.
It doesn't matter though, that doesn't matter. So it just think of this, just do this in your head. If it's 2 times 2 it is 4. So then you can just do 4 times 4.9 negative, okay? Plus 19.6 times 2 plus 58.8. It's on your paper. So just do this in your head first, and then you just don't have to do parentheses at all, and it should work. Okay, just do that part in your head. Or you can put it in your calculator and then start typing. So you should have got y equals 78.4. Did anybody not get 78.4 and need help? You didn't square this.
Oh, that's why.
Did you not get... Oh, that's even worse. I forgot to...
Oh, never mind. I know what I did.
I put that in the wrong spot. There you
That
go.
makes
I know
sense.
what I did.
Sure? Yeah. So, what is the maximum height? This is in meters, not feet. Thank you. So when does the object reach the maximum height? Do we have to do any more work?
No.
Didn't we already find when in the last problem?
Yeah.
Isn't that the x-coordinate of our vertex?
Yeah.
What did we get?
2.
Yes, so 2 seconds. All right.